I had given a lecture on the different traditions of Ramayana, where I had told that there are countless versions, at least 40 of which I have encountered, where Sita is the daughter of Ravana.
What?
Sita is the daughter of Ravana. I'm not saying it is not in Valmiki Ramayana, it is not in any major Ramayanas, but there are Ramayanas right from the Jaina Ramayana onwards, many of the South Indian versions and the versions in the Eastern Asia, where Sita is the daughter of Ravana. Even attributing color to it is a very Western concept, where white is good and black is, all racialism starts from that. No, even the English language is full of that. No, and we have adapted to it. Actually, in Indian, this thing black was considered auspicious. That is why Kali is black, Krishna is black, Devi is black. Only in television, Krishna has become fair and lovely Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna, the name itself is black, right?
Today's episode is deeply philosophical. It's kind of mind-bending in some ways. Anand Neelakantan is someone who has dedicated his entire life to researching more about dharma, about Hindu culture, about ancient Indian culture. And the kind of nuggets of wisdom he shared in this episode will make you question the wisdom that you think you've already solidified in your own mind. It was one of those episodes. So watch it with an extremely open mind. Watch it with the intention of absorbing a different perspective or different perspectives from this great writer's mind. For more deep episodes like this, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Every episode's available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. This is a Ravan special. This is a Ramayana special of TRS with Anand Neelakantan. Enjoy. Anand Neelakantan, sir. Welcome to the Ranveer show.
Thank you.
How are you, my engineering big brother?
Don't remind me of it. Of engineering. With great difficulty, I passed. After 1 year, after everyone else had passed.
Yeah, and then like all other engineers, you became a writer.
Yeah, that's what you do, no? Most of the writers, I think, are engineers.
Yeah, this one is a Dussehra special. It's a Diwali special. Do you think that there was really a demon king called Ravan? When they say he had 10 heads, is that metaphorical? Is it literal?
It is, I think most of these stories are metaphorical in nature.
Okay.
I don't see them as history. People may say it is a history because in Ramayana itself, they talk about countless Ramayanas.
Okay.
Like one of the most famous tales, I don't know whether you have time for the tale, but I'll just say.
We have all the time.
All the time. Very good. One of the things which, there are 2-3 stories in Ramayana which talks about the cyclic nature of Ramayana. One of it is, Sita gives a lot of argument saying that, I want to come with you. Ram says, no, only I have been asked to go to the forest. So, you need not come. Sita gives lots of arguments. Finally, the clincher argument is this. Sita says in every Ramayana which has happened before, Sita has gone with Ram. Why not in this Ramayana? That itself shows how much cyclical in nature it is. Another story which comes is this, where Hanuman is sent. Hanuman is guarding Ram. Okay. So the god of death, Yama, is not able to enter. The avatar is getting over. Ram has to go back to Vaikunta as Vishnu. But as long as Hanuman is there as a protector, the god of death cannot enter. So the sages come, talk to Ram, saying this is a problem. We can't talk to Hanuman. He won't hear of it, that you going away. You have to find a way. So what Ram does is, Lord Ram takes his ring and puts it on the floor. There's a crack. Through it goes to Patal Lok. Don't ask me about the construction quality of Ayodhya. Anyhow, there was a crack on the floor. It goes to the Patal Lok. He asks Hanuman, please get my ring. My ring has gone. Hanuman can become big, small as per the epic. So he becomes small. He enters through the crack, reaches the Patal Lok. Mahabali is the king of Patal Lok. So Mahabali is also a devotee of Vamana avatar.
Yeah.
So Mahabali is there. Mahabali is sitting. He welcomes Hanuman. He asks, why have you come? And Hanuman says, my lord's ring has fallen here and I want to take it. Mahabali says, okay, I think you can take that ring. When Hanuman looks there to that side, he sees a huge mountain of rings. And Hanuman asks, what is this? Which ring I should take? He says, any ring you can take. It doesn't matter. One thing. Second thing, from where did all these rings come from? He says that in every yuga, in every Ramayana, Ram throws his rings like this and the Hanuman comes here to take it.
Mm.
He never takes the rings. He goes back. When I tell why Ram has done that, it's because Ram has gone to Vaikuntha.
Mm.
He wanted to take you away from there so that the god of death can enter.
Yeah. Multiverse of madness.
Multiverse of madness. He goes, by the time hearing it, he rushes back, and by the time he has gone back again, the next yuga it is going to happen. Next cycle of 4 yugas, it is going to happen.
Yeah.
So when you have a tale like this, then it means that it is foolish to fix a historical time frame for it. So I'm just telling this to tell how different and varied the traditions are. There is no one single Ramayana or one single Mahabharata. There are so many multiple versions where even the character, it is not to offend or anyone. I'm telling these are the kind of stories. It is available. People can research and see. There are stories where these characters are Muslims.
Huh? No, what? Let's do that. Let's talk about this.
There is something called Mappila Ramayana in the southern parts of India, especially in Kerala. It's written in half Arabic, half Malayalam.
Really?
One of the versions. This is not the version. There are so many versions in which all the characters are Muslims. They do namaz, they do prayers and all those things. Ram, Ravan, they all pray to Allah.
But the story is the
same. Story, morals, values, everything is the same. Nothing changes in that. But the character changes. Recently, 3 years back, in Mumbai MMRDA grounds, Maharashtra Tourism Government had conducted a International Ramayana Drama Festival.
Okay.
So I was one of the cultural ambassadors. I was a cultural ambassador for representing India for that. They had invited me to give a lecture on this. I had given a lecture on the different traditions of Ramayana, where I had told that there are countless versions, at least 40 of which I have encountered, where Sita is the daughter of Ravana.
What?
Sita is the daughter of Ravana. I'm not saying, it is not in Valmiki Ramayana, it is not in any major Ramayanas, but there are Ramayanas right from the Jaina Ramayana onwards, many of the South Indian versions and the versions in the Eastern Asia, where Sita is the daughter of Ravana.
Okay. So what happens in the story? Like she goes back to her dad's home.
See, in that also there are 2-3 versions. In some versions, she doesn't know that it is, both of them don't know that it is father and daughter. In some versions, Ravana knows that it is her daughter and he purposefully takes. There are versions, coming to what I was telling. When I told this, a lot of people got curious. Some got a bit angry also. Because a lot of dignitaries were there. They said, we are not come across it. I said, it is there. I cannot help if it is there. It is not to offend or anyone. This is like evolved over 3,000, 4,000 years. These are stories.
Yeah.
It's up to you to accept what or reject what, or accept everything or reject everything, or say that I believe only this. All kind of freedom is there in our culture.
Yeah.
When I told that, there was some commotion and other things. After that, the performances started. There were troops from Philippines. There were troops from Malaysia. These are all like 700-year-old ballet troupe, 600-year-old ballet troupe. From Thailand, the prince himself had come to play. In most of these versions, Sita is the daughter of Ravana.
Wow.
In front of so many people, it was played. It might be available in the YouTube and other places. In one of the versions in which what they showed, even I encountered that. This was from Philippines. In Philippines version, Ravan says you can go back. I brought you so that you are my daughter. But Sita refuses to go back in that version, trying to make peace between her father and her husband. So I don't know how these kind of stories evolved. In some of the Buddhist versions, Ram, Lakshman, all of them were born in Ayodhya, not in Ayodhya, but in Varanasi. They are the kings of Varanasi. the birthplace is not even Ayodhya. And in some some versions, there are versions in which Sita kills Ravan. There are versions in which Sita, Ram kills Ravan, and then another Ravan comes called Sahasramukha Ravan, and Sita kills him.
Just 1 second. I really want to do one thing, okay? Like, why you're bending my mind? What is all this? You're giving like a whole Avengers multiverse thing here, sir.
This is so fascinating in the sense that if you take it as how the human civilization and the mind has worked and how the stories evolved.
Why are we shown that conventional version of Ramayana then?
That's the most popular one.
Okay, as in the highest number of people follow that one.
See, conventional version also, it is very funny. Conventional version means what? Conventional version is Tulasidas Ramayana, not even Valmiki Ramayana. And when did this become the conventional version? Like where I grew up, we are not familiar with Tulasidas Ramayana. We all used to read Ramayana during the monsoon season in Kerala. I'm from Kerala. The Malayalam Ramayana of the Adhyatma Ramayana, Tunjatharachan's Ramayana, 500 years old. That is a version we are familiar with. In the nearby state in Tamil Nadu, they are familiar with Kamba Ramayana, which is a very beautiful Ramayana, which is the first one which really made Ram as the god. Whereas in Valmiki, Ram is the human avatar of Vishnu. So he cries and he has all the,
human shortcomings.
I won't say shortcoming, human emotions and human whatever, like he gets angry, he gets sad. Kamba Ramayana is the one in which actually Ram becomes total god. So Bhakti era starts from that era.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is more familiar to that. Like that, Orissa, Sarala Das is there. Kannada has its own Ramayana. So when Ramananda Sagarji did the Ramayana, even though he took stories from all these Ramayana, 99% of it or 90% of it at least, he based it on Tulasidas Ji's Ramayana.
Why did you write an entire book from Ravana's perspective? Like, what about that character fascinated you?
There are fascinating things if you really observe. Lynching of Ravana.
Lynching of Ravana.
Like Ravan Dahan, Ram Leela. Where does this happen? In India. Ramayana is across India, right? Where exactly the geographical space is? Now everywhere it might be happening, but traditionally where it...
North India.
Wherever the Islamic rule was there, that is the place this concept became rooted, that Ravan is evil. Wherever the Hindu kingdoms and the things flourished, there is no Ravan Dahan. There are lots of temples for Ravan. Doesn't mean Ravan is God anywhere. But in traditional Indian places where it has been less influenced by these thoughts, Duryodhana, Kerala has Duryodhana temples. Himachal has Duryodhana temples. Ravan temples are there. Tamil Nadu has Ravan temples. Kerala also has Ravaneshwaram temples. A lot of places have across India. This is a traditional India where it is not that much influenced by this viewpoint that one is good, one is bad.
So you're basically saying that before India was subject to invasions, probably all of India followed a very wide version of Hinduism, which as of now, you only see remnants of in Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Not just there, Northeast
also.
Bengal.
The fringes of like India.
Means I'm not saying this is superior, that is inferior. I'm just bringing you to a subtle observation.
Yeah.
Where does why the same Ravana is not getting the same kind of lynching everywhere? Actually, if you go as per our, you are arguing from the philosophy, you are arguing from the Puranic world. So you have to go by that logic. You cannot impose our logic of today and say that he is evil, he is good and all. If you go back, Ravana is nobody other than Jaya, who was the bodyguard of Vishnu. So he gets cursed. You know that story, no? Jaya and Vijaya are the two bodyguards of Vishnu. So these Sanat Kumaras come, the Rishis come, and they want to have a meeting with Vishnu. So Vishnu says that don't let anyone inside. we are going to have a meeting. So Durvasa comes, and when Durvasa comes, he's
a sage.
He's a sage. So the sage comes to meet Vishnu. These people stop because that is their duty. The boss has told. And he curses them and goes. Now these people run to Vishnu that we followed your instruction. We followed the HR manual and we are cursed. What is this? He says that I can't do anything. You have to use your discretion when something of these things happen. Now you will have to have your karma vela. So he gives choice. Whether you can take 100 lives as my devotee, my bhakt, or 3 lives as my enemy. And we will teach the world about good deeds and the deeds and the karma and karma vela to the world, how it affects everyone. So they don't want to be devotees. They are intelligent, they don't want to be blind bhakts. They say that we will be your enemies for 3 births. That is how Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala in Krishna Avatar, Shishupala, Kamsa and Shishupala. In some versions it is Kamsa and Dandavakra, but mostly it is Kamsa and Shishupala.
These were the same souls getting reincarnated as demons.
Every time. So in each birth, in the first story itself, these people say, but you only instructed us not to allow anyone. Why you are free of it? So he says that, no, I will also have to pay the karma vela. Vishnu says, I also will have to pay the karma vela. I will have to come as human beings and suffer through it, or I will have to take birth as any other creature and suffer through it. So he has to come as Bhor, he has to come as Narasimha and fight Shiva in Narasimha Avatar. That is another story. So he keeps on paying the price. Both of them pay the price for whatever action they have done. Or they eat the fruits of their karma. So Ravana is nobody other than the bodyguard of Vishnu, and it is clearly told that it is Leela of Vishnu. Leela means drama or play. So it is just a play. It is just like a film or a show or a play.
Made for mankind to be able to understand life deeper.
Understand that whatever you do, whether you are God or demon or human or it is, whatever you do, you will pay the price for it. It is as simple as that. Putting it very simply. It's more complicated, but it's very simple also.
Sure.
Simple is this. So Ravana is not a demon. Ravana is playing the part of demon. It is like saying Amrish Puri is bad because he has played a lot of villain role.
Ja, Simran. I can't do it. Ja, Simran. But yeah, go on, sir. Like, what actually happens in the life of Ravana before
See,
Ramayana?
Ravana is a character who doesn't stop at anything.
Okay.
He wants to grab everything. That is why 20 arms are there, symbolically. Whether it is knowledge or whether it is wealth or power, he wants everything for. You want to accumulate. He's an accumulator and he tries to control everything. One way it is a good quality also. He tries to control destiny. One of the fascinating stories is he brings when his son is born, he brings all the planets to stand on. He's a great astrologer. So he makes them to stand on a position. Whether it is physically possible, whether it is science and all, no, it is not. It's a story. You take it like a story. Don't mix science and this thing with it. Here it as a story. He brings all the planets. But Shani, what he does, he keeps one leg. When the Indrajit is born, his son is born, he keeps one leg on a different place. And Ravana cuts his leg. So that's why Shani is lame as per this story. But see the man or the demon or the Jaya or whichever way you call him. He wants to control the universe. He wants to control the destiny. He doesn't want to leave it anything to fate. Fate also he brings it there. Another quality of it, he wants Kailas itself. He goes to Kailas. He tries to lift it and take it. He gets crushed by Shiva. You know that story, no? He tries to lift it up and Shiva presses his leg and all the ants get crushed. What does he do? From there, he creates poetry. He creates the Shivadandava Stotra. He praises Shiva and he asks for more.
More what?
more power, more this thing. It never stops. He never stops wanting things. And Rama is the opposite of it. He doesn't want anything. So that is how the character has been created also. Rama doesn't want, he's detached. He doesn't want the kingdom. He loves his brothers, but he doesn't want to go back to Bharata. He loves his wife, but he abandons it. Whether it is right, wrong, morally, that's a separate story. But here is one man who doesn't want anything, and here is a man who wants everything. So one way of looking at it is a conflict between these two also.
What about the Ravana temple, sir? Why do they exist? Like in terms of what
Ravana
do you get?
is for knowledge. They pray for knowledge.
Okay, because he had accumulated that much knowledge.
Ravana is considered as he wrote the books on pediatry. He wrote the books on Hasta Ayurveda. He wrote the books on, that is for treatment of elephants, treatment of horses, treatment of other animals, other Ayurvedic books. He wrote a lot of poetry. He was the inventor of many ragas, Veena.
Are these pieces of knowledge still accessible to human beings?
This, we don't know whether there was actually a Ravana or whether actually he wrote this, but these are all attributed to him. So what we have to understand is the entire civilization has attributed so many good qualities and achievements to this man who is considered to be a villain. Because the moment we say villain, we take it like the typical Hollywood or the present day Bollywood villain, where it is all dark and kind of villain. It is much more layered and this thing of that.
It's grey versus grey in some ways.
It's a grey versus grey, or even attributing color to it is a very Western concept, where white is good and black is, all racialism starts from that. No, black is bad. Even the English language is full of that. And we have adapted to it. Actually, in Indian, this thing black was considered auspicious. That is why Kali is black, Krishna is black, Devi is black. Most of our gods are black. Why should a country which has such skin tone, where 99% of the people are dark or shades of dark, attribute gods as fair? Only in television, Krishna has become fair and lovely Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna, the name itself is black, right? It's not even blue, it's black.
Yeah. Maybe in this particular episode, sir, my main logic was trying to understand this character of Ravana, because Dussehra is around the corner. Is Dussehra even celebrated in the same regions where the Ravana temples exist?
See, one festival which is celebrated all over India is Puja, Dussehra.
Okay.
But it is celebrated for different reasons to different gods in different parts of the country, same days.
It is celebrated for Kali Ma in some parts. That's all
It is
I know.
celebrated for Kali Ma in eastern parts of the country.
Okay.
In Kerala and all, it is Saraswati celebration. It's not Kali, it's Saraswati.
Okay.
It is the day of Vidyarambha.
Okay.
Where you start everything, and Saraswati is the main deity for not Durga, but Saraswati's form. It is celebrated, there nobody celebrates it as Ram killing Ravan or anything like that. Even Diwali in the south is for Krishna killing Narakasura. It has got nothing to do with Ramayana. It's not Ram coming back or anything.
Yeah.
In South India, Diwali is celebrated for... See the celebrations of India. That itself is so much difference. In here, it is more like for the puja time, it is not Durga who gets it. Now everybody lives everywhere. It is I am talking about traditionally how it gets celebrated. Different gods are forms of gods are popular in different parts of the country also. In Mysore, hardly 100 kilometers away from Kerala border, it's not Saraswati, it is Chamundi. And it is Kali's killing, it is celebrated. And it is not same as Durga's also. It's a different story. Same festival, some place Ravana is lynched, some place it is Devi, Durga is celebrated, some place Chamundi is celebrated, some place it is Saraswati, it is celebrated.
Got it.
Even so much variation on the same day celebration. Even the biggest festival, we don't agree. Forget that. I will tell you something. I will ask you a question. I don't know. Who is elder? Ganesha or Kartikeya?
Kartikeya.
Kartikeya is elder for you?
That's what I have.
Who is elder?
They'll probably say the same thing.
It depends on which part of the country you are from. Who is a bachelor and who has wives?
I thought they both have wives.
Kartikeya has wives?
As far as I know, yeah. Yes. Or does it depend on which part of the country? Oh, okay.
Let me tell you this. In northern parts of the country,
Hmm.
Kartikeya is the elder son.
Hmm.
Ganesha is the younger. In the western part of the country, in Bombay and Maharashtra and all, Ganesha has two wives. Now, since it is globalization world, everybody, that's why you are mixing up stories. 50 years back, had you asked, Kartikeya is a bachelor god in the north. People will be shocked. But you come to south, he has two wives.
Hmm.
And Ganesha is the bachelor god in the south. Whereas, come to west, Ganesha has two wives. But in our part, in our temples, Ganesha is a bachelor. Ganesha is never worshipped with wives. Whereas
Got it.
Kartikeya has two wives. Whereas the
Hmm.
northern part, Kartikeya is a bachelor god and Kartikeya doesn't have wives. He is Brahmachari.
Got it.
So much, and in south, Kartikeya is a younger son.
Hmm.
Ganesha is elder son.
Got it.
In north, it is the other way around. So we don't even agree on some important gods and the Shiva's family itself, who is elder, who is younger, who has married, who has two wives, who doesn't have two wives.
Hmm.
Just showing it to show the variation.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Ayyappa?
It is another name for. It is a god. That's all I know. Is it
Okay.
Kartikeya?
No.
No.
Ayyappa is in the southern part of country, is the most popular god. After Tirupati in this country, it has the highest number of pilgrims visiting in a year. The temple, the Shabarimala temple. Ayyappa is the son of Vishnu and Shiva.
Okay.
Vishnu in his Mohini avatar marries Shiva, and in that Ayyappa is born. This Ayyappa is such a popular deity in the south, in the all four states and parts of Orissa and southern Maharashtra. Almost 5 crore to 6 crore pilgrims come in every year. After Tirupati, it has the highest number of footfall in the country and one of the biggest temple. And this god is not even known. It's the most important god for almost 40 crores of Hindus. It is a big festival during that 1 month. The entire South India, every village, it's a big cult.
Hmm.
You travel 100 kilometers away from Karnataka to Maharashtra. Suddenly, the Ayyappa's position is for Sai Baba. Not many people would have heard about Ayyappa.
Hmm. My last question to you on this episode is about Ravana now. At this stage of your life as a person, what does Ravana even mean to you?
Ravana means to me whatever he meant in the Ramayana, original Ramayana itself. No, Ravana is another way of looking at Ravana is he is the senses.
Okay, let's talk about this.
He is about, as I said, he is about the passion.
Hmm.
He is an antithesis of whatever they say to avoid. So in my Asura book, I have elaborated that. So that is like Ravan says, I will get angry.
Hmm.
He's asked to control anger. He's asked to control kama, that is passion. He's asked lust. He says, why should I do that? These are all God-given or nature-given faculties for human beings.
Hmm.
If I don't get angry at the things that has to be got angry, then I can't be called human.
Hmm.
You do something to the people I love, I'll be angry and I'll do to protect them. Any species in the world will do that. I am that. So I am a force of nature.
Hmm.
You are asking for impossible things. You are saying that you should not have desire. Like the 6 evil, Hinduism talks about it, Jainism talks about it, Sikhism talks about it. Sikhism talks about more number of evil also. Buddha talks about that. Bible talks about that. But Ravana gives a counter philosophy to it. Why do you are talking, means the 6 traits which you will have to avoid, like kama, krodha, all those things. No, he says that when you have to feel angry, you have to feel angry. When you have to feel lust, without lust, there is no life. Kama is the life force. Because there is lust that you and I are born. Every animal is born because of lust. There are other creatures, at least Ravana may not have known about it. Science says there are asexual reproduction. That's a separate part. But majority of the life, at least, what can be seen, not about bacteria and other things, is sexual reproduction.
Hmm.
So without lust, there is no life. So Ravana is asserting all these things. Ravana's characterization itself is that.
Hmm.
Lust is important. Ravana's fall also is going beyond what is required. He takes it to the extreme, and that is why it is his fault. But he gives one most important aspect of life, that you can't live as a complete human being or a living being by purging all these. Whatever gurus say, even Buddha say, or God say, it is an impossible thing. It gets proven in the Puranas again and again. Even gods are not able to control the lust. Even rishis are not able to control the lust. That they sit on meditation, sages, for thousands of years. If you go by the story, they stand on one feet, hang upside down, pray to God, and suddenly one Apsara comes and they lose their control. You and I don't lose control like that, right? They lose the control to Menaka, to other things. Or these say, so what is the use of, I think inherently they are weak beings. That is why even after 1,000 years of practice, they are not able to control their mind, which we are able to control as normal human beings, because they are trying to do something extreme. Similarly, they curse. They curse people. So what is you are talking about don't get angry. We have more self-control than many of the rishis if you read. So what are they trying to say? It is impossible to control this, right? You can only attempt to control it. Ravana rejects this philosophy at all. He says that if I am angry, I will angry. If I want something, I will grab it. I will pay the price. It doesn't matter. So Ravana represents the nature at its uncontrolled, unbridled passion and nature. For me, it is that. It is a natural force.
Which is supposed to die?
It will have, once it moves, a storm will have to end one day, no? And again it will rise.
What does Ram represent then?
Ram represents perhaps a failed attempt of trying to control all these things.
A failed attempt.
I will call that.
Okay.
Or a continuing attempt. I won't call it failed. Failed will be very hard. It's an effort. And talking to us, I'm not talking as God, or don't get offended. I'm talking about the God. I'm telling it is a human. These are two aspects of human beings. Well, let us take it like that.
One is where you've given up on living a correct life, and one is where you're constantly trying to live a correct life.
You are again going by the concept of what is correct or what is not correct. I am saying there is nothing called correct or not incorrect. Ravana's thing, and let me try to make it more simpler. Ravana's thing is that he will not try to control. What nature gives, I will utilize it to the best. I will gather maximum knowledge. I will gather maximum wealth. I will gather. It is a limitless love for life. It also is dangerous after some time. No, there is nothing like Buddha talks about middle path.
Yep.
Rama goes to the other extreme, and both of them suffer if you really see. Rama denies everything. Don't look at him as a god, and you should not criticize him. In Indian thing, they ask you to criticize each and everything. Even Krishna asked him to criticize himself. Buddha used to make it a point that he is criticized in his discourses. He used to encourage. So this is our culture. So we have to criticize gods and gods or sages or other things, which is encouraged in the entire Upanishads and other things are about debate. Every point is debated from all sides. So there is nothing like you criticize it's blasphemy and you are burned at stake. No. So when you objectively analyze, Ram is one extreme, Ravana is another extreme. Either of them is not working properly.
Anand Neelakantan, sir, this was very new. You gave me also that cognitive dissonance by revealing a lot of unknown facets about the Ramayana. With every episode, I gain something like from my guest, and from you, I've gained the wish to be able to go deeper into scriptures and see it from more of a 360-degree perspective rather than just the perspective that I've been given till this stage in my life. So that's what I will say.
I will only conclude this by saying quoting Buddha, don't believe anything because, don't believe or accept anything because it is said in some books or scriptures. It is said by some god or godman. It is said even by Buddha himself. Buddha's quote. And coming back to Krishna in Gita, accept only if it is acceptable to your experience and your logic. There is something is right and it will be right only for you. just because elders say, just because it is said in some book, holy book or whatever book you call, doesn't matter whether it is Vedas or Bible or Quran or whatever name you call Upanishad. Unless that is a very scientific approach, science developed because of that. Indian philosophy was like that always. When did we lose it? We don't know. So every book needs revision. Ramayana or anything will continue to be revised. Gita will be revised. Sometimes you may have to reject the entire thing because the times and places have changed. It doesn't matter. Life constantly renews it.
Yeah, maybe this is the true nature of what the world refers to as Hinduism, as a
Yes.
constantly evolving philosophy.
Constantly evolving. So nothing. That is why they say no Smriti is final.
Yes,
They
sir.
all are subject to the time, the geography, the place, and the person interpreting.
Anand Neelakantan, sir, thank you for
Thank
an
you.
epic episode. We'll move on to the next. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the episode for today. I wanted to know what you guys honestly thought of this one. It was a slightly different episode than the ones we've already done. Please drop a comment if you are consuming this podcast on YouTube. And of course, remember to follow us on Spotify. We're Spotify exclusive. Every episode is available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. When it comes to Anand Neelakantan, what other podcasts would you like from this mind? Please let us know. TRS will be back soon.